Okay, guitarist Kenny Olson is my guest today, and you may remember him as the guitar player for Kid Rock up until around 2005 when he left. And he's since been involved in some really cool projects, including his latest one called Letrick Olson with singer Aaron Letrick. And they have a new song out. We're going to discuss that. Plus, we'll talk other projects Kenny's been involved in, and we talk about the Kid Rock days as well. Enjoy.
So where are you at?
I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona. Are you in? Are you still in Nashville or?
No, I'm up in Michigan right now.
Oh, you're Michigan. Okay.
Yeah.
You've kind of bounced back and forth between those two.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up, originally I'm from Detroit area, and I was living down in Nashville, like you were saying, for the last 12 years, I think. And then COVID, I've been commuting to Los Angeles quite a bit as well. Doing kind of a super group thing out there with the Think X project with like Steve Perkins from Jane's Addiction and Norwood from Fishbone, Norwood Fisher, and Scott Page from Pink Floyd, Roberta Freeman. So I've been started commuting out to LA quite a bit doing that when I was still in Nashville, and then COVID kind of happened, and then I ended up acquiring. We got a big building in Detroit area, and are putting a new recording studio in there and a live multimedia center, TV, everything. So I'm in the midst of producing a bunch of new stuff and recording a new album and a documentary and doing this project called The Beautiful Mistakes, bringing in all these special guests, old school legends, and new talent that I'm developing as well. So, yeah. Just keep
got a
busy.
lot of stuff going on. Wait, so tell me about this thing with Stephen Perkins. Yeah, I've heard you kind of briefly mention that. What is the band called, and when does that album come out? Or
Well, that was something we've been doing. It's called Think X. And we were doing, like Norwood and Steve and I years and years ago started working on just a bunch of our own stuff. And that's also intertwined with some of the stuff we're doing for Beautiful Mistakes. But then we worked with Scott Page from Pink Floyd, and we started doing this whole Think X project. And we were doing a thing at the Wisdom in LA. And we had like a residency thing there. And we even went over to Eastern Europe, did quite a few things, done a little recording, but COVID just kind of changed things around. Everybody gets busy, like everybody involved with these super groups and stuff. We all have so many different things going on that it's kind of but it's fun too, because I get to bounce around, and I love all kinds of music, so I get to just kind of I get to get my creative flow.
yeah. Well, so tell me about the latest thing, because the thing you're doing now is with Aaron Letrick, called Letrick Olson.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I only.
And that's Aaron.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I was just gonna say I only heard two songs, the Willow and the Led Zeppelin cover "Thank You," but yeah, it sounded great. And obviously, the Willow song is about Aaron's girlfriend or wife that died in a car accident, hit by a drunk driver. So it's obviously really emotional and dark and
sad. Yeah, it's definitely Aaron's an old dear friend of mine, and the group that came together to make the song happen was kind of an all-star Detroit group. Jimmy Bones from my fellow band member, about 3 years with Kid Rock and Twisted Brown Trucker Band. Jimmy's still with Kid Rock. And but Jimmy and I have been always doing different things on the side for as long as I remember. So we and Jason Hartless and Kevin Sean, who also played on that Zeppelin track, which recorded years ago. So I mean, it kind of started out as a project, and Aaron had came to me with this, the song that he roughly kind of had outlined, and we went in there and really tweaked it and arranged it, and I did all guitars, Jimmy, everybody did all their parts and everything, and it came out to be quite it's one of those songs that it was just meant to be kind of thing. When we even the whole process of recording it, like the guitar solos, everything was like one take, where you had these kind of outer body experiences, because it is one of those emotional songs. And I'm used to, I love all kinds of music, and I like songs that are really deep and emotional, but I also like stuff that's really groovy and funky and trippy, and or just classic, just simplified, rock and roll as well, and I've like I think, it's just it's one of those songs that, that every time we've all got together and collaborated, it's been something really awesome. And I think that song with a lot of people, like when we did for example, Only God Knows Why with Kid Rock, that was more of a slow song, ballady song. And a lot of people would come to me through the years and say, wow, I was thinking about, with your guitar solo you were doing on Only God Knows Why, and the song, what you guys did got me through, our family through this or this, that. And, songs like this, that's, if they help people get through stuff, it's a good feeling on the artist end that, we've, been able to create something that got them through it all. So,
yeah, I would think it would help Aaron get through that. It would be cathartic for him to write that song and perform it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, and we performed it a couple times, with the super group in Detroit. And, we've got some other ideas and stuff too that, I've got so much music, especially through COVID. I don't even know. I can't even tell you how many songs are, or at least incompleted, but close to completed songs that I've been creating. So this, this year coming up now with our own new studio, and we having a playground to really finish and hone in on all these records. I've got it's a lot of stuff that's going to be coming out here in the very near future. So I'm excited.
So is Letrick Olson, is that going to be kind of your main focus? And do you guys already have some other songs recorded or written?
Well, I mean, right now, it's more of a, Aaron, kind of, when he came to us as a song, it's like I said, it's a Detroit super group. That's came together for these last couple songs that we've done. And, we're always open to whatever, and everybody's got their schedules, but we've been, there's definitely more music, I mean, on the horizon with that lineup. And, we're already like gone and rocked out a few shows. It was amazing. And I mean, as far as like my main thing, I got so much stuff going on, even with my own record and the documentary and other stuff. So, and then the guys, out west, I'm still going down to Nashville doing stuff too, with kind of the similar thing with a bunch of badasses down there. So I'm just doing what I can within the time that I can do everything in. So
yeah, tell me about the documentary. I wasn't aware of that.
I'm calling it The Beautiful Mistakes, and it's I've just been making a record with a lot of just amazing people and letting them tell their stories. And some of the players on it are people that us, like people like you and I, are people that, there's a lot of people that know who they are, but there's a lot of people that don't know, and all the different stuff that they played on. And, and intertwined with all of our creative process, a lot of great stories have been being told, and just a lot of education of the recording process, and just people's, story. It's just kind of and when I call it The Beautiful Mistakes, it's because nothing's really too pre-thought out. It's everything that I've been striving for is more that not overthought, first take kind of, it's all vibey stuff. Everybody's just kind of coming in, just vibing together, and we're taking what we get from that. So,
and who are some of the people involved in that? Can you say?
Well, there's a couple. I gotta wait till there's the big announcements for the final thing with some of the singers that are coming in. Some of it we're doing within the core group and stuff too. But like I said, like Stephen and Norwood are on some of the tracks, and a lot of my other fellow peers through the years, and some I've legendary stuff. When I was doing the Experience Hendrix tours, having a chance to tour with like Mitch Mitchell and Billy Cox and Buddy Miles and Paul Rogers, Bootsy Collins. There were so many people that Hubert Sumlin that it's just amazing to have these opportunities. And while, some of like, we're still here, true artists, until, we can't even play anymore, usually want to just keep creating. I mean, you look at like someone like Keith Richards. I mean, Keith is a true definition of rock and roll because he does it. And Mick, the band, they do it for the love of what they do. Obviously they don't need need it for money or anything. I'm all about making music for the right reasons. Just like the song, with Aaron, when he came to me, I knew it was a very emotional song that was, and we took it there. We dove right into it, and I didn't even know his girlfriend personally, and I feel like I've known her quite a bit now, and I've met her whole family, and they're I've been very, grateful and in tune to what we've been doing with it all. So it's, like with certain projects, you never know, what could happen in the future with it. But, that's kind of how it's really started out, was just taking a bunch of old friends from Detroit and making some music with it. And, we're hoping, for it to be heard by the masses.
Yeah, I mean, so are you at that point, like, you don't have to worry about money, you can just make music for fun? Like, you don't, I mean, you have enough from like the other stuff you've done with Kid Rock and everything that you can just, you have enough to pay the bills at least? Or do you still have to kind of worry about at least being able to like pay the bills?
Well, the music industry has changed quite a bit, and a lot of money has been taken from all us artists, with no one paying for music anymore. So what we thought was would continue to come in for a lot of artists has changed. So, and I just know no better anyways. I mean, I'll always do what I do. And I don't even think that but I think that, with as many records as I've played on and the stuff that we did through the Kid Rock heyday and, my own stuff, I don't even think that I've put out my best stuff yet by any long shot. So as an artist, I'm really looking forward to, there's hundreds of songs I've recorded over the last decade since I quit Kid Rock. And I think it's the best stuff I've ever done. But in this new age of music and putting songs out, it's always like there's these pros and cons of everything. And you're basically giving your content away in this world. It's kind of, and then to throw everything out there all at once, because it's this world where no one really has that attention span to really listen to a whole album by someone anymore. It's all like, okay, let me, and then they're judging how many seconds or minutes someone listens to a song when it's put out there. Well, they made it through 80% of the song, or they made it through 100% of the song. It's not like the old days when we were younger and we put on a great album that was anticipated and was made like a work of art and sat back and listened to how it played from beginning to end. It's, it sucks that it's not like that anymore,
Yeah. I heard that when you left Kid Rock, was part of the reason it was because you had this band called Pack of Wolves with Chris Van Dahl. And I still have not heard that, but I've heard that the album is, the rumor is that it's really good. I mean, that's what Chris told me. I had Chris on the show and he said, oh, that stuff is amazing. And I was trying to find it. I don't see it on Spotify or YouTube or anything. Will that ever be released?
Yeah, that's one of those priceless gem albums sitting there. And I think, when I listen back to those tracks and the way we did them, what's great about them is I wouldn't go back and redo anything. Even at this present moment, as long ago as we did even those songs, maybe a little bit of tweaking in the mixing stuff. But as far as the parts that were played, the vocals that were put down, everything is, it was quite magical. It was like how, even when we did like Devil Without a Cause, for example, we just went in there and we wrote the record. And that's how we did with the Pack of Wolves thing. And then that turned into the Flask. And Eddie Kramer did that record. And everything's kind of, all this music that I created in that time period, which I was going through a lot, deciding to quit a band as big as Kid Rock to go out on my own. And then the music industry going upside down, the economy going upside down. So, and being a man with a family and everything like that, it's, the highs have been high and the, lows have been, your highs and lows and the in-betweens are far between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was
It's
that
kind of
was the
it's
reason
a
that you
crazy
left?
ride, but
Yeah. But that was the reason that you left Kid Rock, was to form the Pack of Wolves. That's what was going to be your main project after leaving Kid Rock.
yeah, there was, it was, yeah, I mean, unfortunately, the business side in the music industry can have its negative effect on people's relations and stuff. And, that was something that we started doing. And, for what different reasons and people involved, we, haven't put it out yet. And it's people's past and their journey in life, and that was, like I said, it was right at a time when I was, I still was in the band with Kid Rock when we started doing that. And at that point, it was a project, But then once I decided to leave, we were going to be gung ho about it. But then the music industry kind of went upside down too. And we even went through a phase back then where they all of a sudden rock and roll wasn't hip. It was all about bro country and all this crazy shit that was getting put out. So, and then I was down in Nashville and getting caught in that grind, playing on other people's records, making other people rich. So, I'm all about, I love playing on other people's stuff and being featured, but right now it's, writing, besides just being a lead guitar player, and I'm really, writing is one of my favorite things to do, and creating and producing songs. And, right now we've got an outlet now that we've, have a plan of action to get all these songs out there, in somewhat of a timely manner so that they can be heard. So
Yeah, that's interesting because like when I look back at your time with Kid Rock, you didn't write a lot of the songs. I think there was some, like I think the song "Devil Without a Cause" you had a co-write on that. Maybe so, some stuff here and there. Was that why was he not allowing you to co-write music at that point with him?
we collaborated, and most all that stuff was a lot of efforts from people in the room and all that kind of stuff. It's just kind of the nature of the beast of sometimes what names they want to put down on certain songs too. So that seems to happen a lot on a lot of different occasions where what people see, even on there's songs on those records that I actually do get, even cocky where they forgot to even put my credit, underneath the thing where I'm still actually a songwriter in it. But it's the nature of the beast.
Oh, so there were songs that you co-wrote that you didn't get credit for, and you didn't fight for it or anything, or?
Oh no, I mean they just didn't list it on the albums. I mean I have, there's stuff that I wrote that I actually am listed as a co-writer in the publishing and writing world that they just didn't put it on the record.
Huh. That's weird. Well, you still get the money then for that, right?
Yeah, I mean, so there's, but sometimes they just want to take this, but I mean, it's, everybody, he had an idea and he had a direction in his songs, and whether I was, contributing guitar riffs, and he considers what, part of the songwriting. But I think when everybody's in a room creating a song and throwing their 2 cents in, there's, that's part of the whole process, even the groove that is being laid down and just taking ideas. But there's also, it's, we had, it was, it's a whole different long story with the business end of things. It's a lot. It's, I don't know. It's a tough business.
Yeah. Did you, when you left Kid Rock, are you still cool with him, or is that a thing where like you haven't talked to him since you left?
No, we once in a while run into each other. We've known each other for a long, 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 long time, even long before we even started playing together in the mid-90s. So, it's like I said, the business side of the music industry can get in the way of old friendships and stuff too. So it's kind of, it's a long, long story, but I just try to, taking the high road with it all and looking forward to putting a bunch of music out,
Yeah, no,
So,
it's exciting that you're doing all this other stuff. I mean, it's such a big part of your career. And then obviously you did all, like you said, you did all these guest spots on other albums like Run DMC and Eric Gales and Big and Rich and Tantric. And I mean, that's just exciting things, but now you want to focus more on being the songwriter and lead
yeah.
guitarist, having your own having more creative control, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I've always been in that situation, throughout my whole career. I've been primarily, even all my different bands, that was my thing. Besides just being a lead guitar player, I love writing riffs, and arranging music. And it's been a big part of what I do and how I even get paid and stuff too. But, and I love playing on other people's records. I mean, I do a lot of R&B albums too. I've been blessed to have cameos on Les Paul's record from the jazz scene at Shaka Khan, Faith Evans, even it's a lot more hip hop records too that I mean, I love doing that kind of stuff. And I'll always, continue to do that. That's a lot of fun, but I'm also, looking forward to getting a lot of this music out that's been brewing up inside and I'm excited for the world to hear it.
Yeah. Now, how do you release music now? Because it's so different than say in the mid 90s or early 2000s when you had to basically be on a major record label. Now, so many artists are releasing it independently. Or do you have some sort of label, or is it just going to be self-released?
Yeah, that's all there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes being masterminded. Excellent. No, but that's I'm excited about, but you have to think really outside of the box these days. I mean, there's a lot, it's like the Wild Wild West, the music industry. It's kind of like the way the internet is. It's almost like if you were at a football game, a professional football game, where all these guys worked their whole lives and dedicated their lives since they were youngsters to become a professional athlete. And now it's like everybody from the stands was able to go down on the field as well and be like, here I am. And it's overwhelming.
That's an interesting way to look at it. You're right, though. Yeah, it is. It's like the people in the stands are just being able to walk down to the field, and that's interesting.
I mean, there was a time when back when, like, I'm very grateful. I mean, like going back to even the Kid Rock stuff, I'm very grateful for the times that we've had, him and I. It's not like there's no war with anybody. I love all those guys in the band, and we've had amazing times together. But I mean, to get there and what we accomplished, those are cherishable memories. But nowadays, this music industry, it's just so different. And I'm so grateful that I got to and be part of the music scene in that last hurrah, where you'd actually go get a record deal with, like us with Atlantic, and they get behind you and you rise to the top by building it up and start opening up for this person, do the Warped Tour, the Rock and Roll Boot Camp. Next thing I would open up for this thing, and then Woodstock. And we had like it was a very, I guess the last way, because not long after that, even like when a lot of us did, deals with labels and stuff, we weren't trying to figure out how it was going to break down with downloads and all that stuff, because that stuff didn't exist then, and it's like time has just flown by like that. And now it's like it's all about likes. Everybody's giving their content away just to get, a few likes. And it's like, and where's the money? I mean, you break down, these releases and what's being divided between people. It's pennies being divided up versus dollars. And that was only not that long ago. So how it all works, even when you get it all figured out at this area, it's like everybody's all on their own. And you got these younger kids that are so good in computer and technology savvy, so they know how to go out there and get the followers. I mean, now that you got these agencies and stuff looking and seeing how many followers an artist has before they book them, but you have all these generations. I mean, I remember back when you met somebody really famous, that you looked up to, and you shook their hand, started talking to them. If you wanted a minute, you went to go and do a selfie with them, just, out of like for your own little promotion, you went from friend to fan kind of thing, where it was more of a respect thing. I mean, we didn't walk around with cameras and there's just so many amazing, famous people I held moments with in my journey. And I don't even have photos of all that because it wasn't like, oh, look at this opportunity I have. It was more part of your journey as an artist and not about what the rest of the world, the whole name dropping thing was about what you're experiencing within and being part of that journey and appreciating it that way versus, doing it for all the wrong reasons. Like, look at me, look what I did. It's just like somebody who, you look at like a beautiful soul, like a Dolly Parton or somebody like that. These people, they go do things for charity. They don't want anybody even know that they did it. They're anonymous, donators to help these things because they're doing it because for those reasons, not they look what I just did, and unfortunately the music industry is it's such an ADD world now. It's all about let's see who we can attach ourselves to get as many likes as we can for that brief moment. And then it's like gone in the wind. And there's like, where's the timeless music?
Well, but you talk about these experiences that you had, in the 90s and the 2000s, like touring with Limp Bizkit and Aerosmith and Run DMC and Metallica. That's got to be a lot of, you might not have pictures of it, but God, there's got to be a lot of cool memories from all that stuff. Even if you didn't tell anybody, just having those experiences must have been fun.
Yeah, that it was. And there are some pictures of it. It's hard to, nowadays because a lot of them where I remember none of us really had, excuse me, really nice high-tech cameras. So we'd buy those little disposable Kodaks, because we knew we were going to do something. When we swing by the truck stop when the gas is being filled and going by a couple disposable cameras to have in your access feeds, like, oh, we're going to be around so-and-so tonight, or, those things you got to. The first time I hung out with Keith Richards, I was so happy that there was people there taking photos or like on Hendrix tours, but there's a lot of times when there wasn't a camera around. You just had to seize the moment for yourself and know it's part of your journey and got a little tall tale to share with, the grandkids and so forth or different friends, because it's hard to even remember it all. Everything happens so fast that you don't really have a couple of days to even let it register in your head. It was like for us in the Kid Rock heyday, it was like just on to the next thing. It was like we didn't even have time to keep a journal. It was like, when do I have time to go in my bunk for 45 minutes and write out what happened that day? It's like I'll remember it in my head, and all of a sudden, before you know it, you're like looking at your tour books and your laminates from boxes of them, like, wow, I don't remember that place. I was there. Oh, I didn't even know. I remember I went to that country. Oh my God. You don't until something jars your memory. And I've been trying to do a lot of that as, I'm still young and got a lot of years left in me, but I'm also lived a lot of life and met a lot of people. So I'm trying to exercise my brain to, keep it all and remember all this stuff.
Yeah. Do you like being busy like that? Like with Kid Rock, where you're on to the next thing? Cause it sounds like that's what you're doing now, is that you're talking about all these different projects that you're just staying really busy. I know for me, like I'm much happier when I'm busy. Like when I'm not busy, I feel like worthless and bored.
Yeah. And especially after, the couple of years we all spent during COVID, like going like, even if I had like all these musical ideas, it's like, okay, yeah, we're sharing some files, from this part of the country to the other, but even that is, which I do, and it's cool because I don't always want to get on a plane. I don't mind the traveling, but there's a certain point where you have to have your downtime to recharge. But on this, a lot of these sessions you send the files, and it's even like there's some of that intimacy. That's why I'm like, love what I'm doing with the Beautiful Mistakes project, because everything is there. There's no cameras around making people feel uncomfortable. It's just people doing what we do, and we're just capturing the moment
Yeah. Do you like
without the whole me,
performing?
me, me, me. Me.
Do you like performing live better, or do you like writing and recording in the studio?
Wow. Well, they're both like I think recording in the studio is like and making songs is it's like making a painting. So it's like it's so much it's just amazing. But then playing live is like the ultimate drug of just it's not even being paid the money we've when you finally get to that point, it's all the traveling and everything in between that really feels more like the work because that moment when you're on stage, I mean, obviously there's nights where if you tour long enough, you're gonna have to perform on a few different nights where you might have the flu or not feel good, and eventually people, most people after being on the road, even in the younger years in rock and roll boot camp, where we, you know, burn the candle at both ends, I should say, in a PG way of saying things, but eventually you become friends of the road, and you learn that even going on that stage at the level we were at, with Kid Rock, it was a 2.5 hour show. We had to like get ourselves all pumped up and have some rest, and especially as we get older, it's, you know, the rest is farther and few between,
Yeah, when
and we need
doing
it as we
those
get older.
big shows like with Kid Rock, when you guys played like Woodstock and like the Vans Warped, like those huge arenas, is that a huge difference from playing in a club or a theater? I mean, is it really feel that much different, or is it once that there's a crowded room, it doesn't really matter, it's all the same energy?
Yeah, I mean, it's I in both situations, I think it's like live in a big, huge audience like Woodstock, or we were on tour with Metallica, the Speedways. It's such a rush just to walk out in front of all those people and just be like, yeah, it's like there's no high like it. But to go into like a place like like on the Hendrix tours and breaking down the dynamics and playing at like the Fox Theater in my hometown in Detroit, where or you play these places where when these blues guys, they bring it way down, and you can hear like a pin drop because everybody's just listening. You can hear the resonance of the theater, and just you can hear all the subtle nuances. So to me, and whether 20 people or 5 people, you take them to another place or a million people, it doesn't really matter because it's a moment in time where you're translating what you do. I guess it's not really, to me, I like both, but I like the intimate gigs because I like the dynamics of it and how intimate it feels. But I also love the big rocking shows where you're just like, they're different kind of highs, I guess. They're
That's
both
interesting.
they're both they're both a great buzz, but they're different.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I just, as a fan, I love the smaller gigs so much. Like if it's a band you really like and you can get like 10 feet from them, like that's
Oh
amazing.
yeah, oh yeah,
But when you're
yeah.
in those
Instead of
arenas, like as a fan, if you're in the back, it's like you can't even hardly
yeah,
see anything. You're watching the TV screen and stuff. Like Aerosmith, I don't know if you saw their latest Peace Out tour. It's like $300 or $300 or $400 for the nosebleeds. It's crazy.
yeah, and I'm right there with you because myself, you just made I've obviously thought of this before because I don't. A lot of times, I'll still love to go see shows, but if it's a big show and I got to get in the whole craziness of it, it's like versus going and seeing somebody that I've been dying to see or just love what they do and sitting there in a theater or a small club like you. It's like you're saying, it's just for me, myself, maybe, when I was younger, it was a little different, but I enjoy that much more to really experience it versus being like in masses of people and even the sound. It's so much louder that you can't really, there's
Yeah.
no, even when you're on stage playing and you want to bring it way down and you're in front of all those people, it's still, you can do it dynamically, but it's different. you still have, but like I said, they're just two different kind of buzzes to me. But I like them both.
Yeah, no, that's very cool.
I think you got more. You're like your indica kind of gigs, your sativa gigs, and then your hybrids in between.
There you go. That's a good way to put it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, Letrick Olson is there's a couple songs out now and maybe more from that. And you got all these other projects. So people need to follow you on social media to keep up with everything that you're doing. I'm sure you'll be posting about it, right?
Yep. Yeah. Everything will be, because like I said, we're going to be, like we were all, had a lot of, meant a lot to everybody to create the song we have. And I'm glad that, everybody's come on board to put it out there and for it to be heard, which, was like awesome. And, I already, I've done other, we've got other songs. That super group is out, went out and played. We've already done a few shows, but everybody in these super groups that I'm playing with all have their own schedules, and and I'm always doing my own thing. That's never, even through the years of Kid Rock, I've always had my own studio and just always been writing. And there's so much stuff that people haven't heard, and when they hear it, they go, "When did you just do this?" And I was like, "No, I'm just listening to the stuff." And it's like sometimes it's like a blessing and a curse, because you have all this stuff, and it's like creating your own little bit, you're like your own little family of all these sounds and emotions that I've gone through, the highs and ups and lows and whatever, and what was going on at the time, and I've captured it. But you want the masses to hear it. You never know. Like, it's like a lot of the stuff that the masses hear are things that, the powers that be are getting behind. So, I'm definitely going to be cranking out a lot of stuff. That's my plan and my goal, and I'm having fun doing it. So,
all right, very cool. We'll look forward to that. I always end promoting a charity. Is there a charity that you've worked with that you want to promote here at the end?
Well, I love that. I've done stuff through the years with, St. Jude's and Make-A-Wish, and I do a lot of stuff even with the local communities too, because like my little cousin Hallie passed of ovarian cancer a few years back, and I do a golf outing every year in honor of her foundation that she's called Hallie's Hearts, and that raises money for women, with ovarian cancer. So I've been, but I've done stuff with the military stuff too. I one year with my golf outing, we had so many, but I've sent, there's so many I'm trying to remember.
Okay, no, that's good. Hallie's Hearts and St. Jude's.
I love giving back.
Absolutely. We'll put that in the notes along with your website. And like I said, the Letrick Olson's out now, and I look forward to all this other stuff. I hope I can hear the Pack of Wolves too someday. I'd love to hear that. It sounds amazing. I mean, it sounds like
let's definitely stay in contact and make sure you keep my info, and I get all yours and stuff. I got as we come up with new stuff, whether it's with Letrick Olson, but also I've got all these new projects, and I'd love to come back on the show and really share everybody all this stuff as it's coming out, because I got a lot of secrets up my sleeve of some pretty amazing stuff. There's so much of it. I don't want to throw it all at everybody all at once.
All right, yeah. Come on back. We'll stay in touch. All right.
So thank you so much, and looking forward to it.
All right, thanks, Kenny. I'll talk to you later. Okay.
Thanks, brother.
Bye-bye. All right, I really enjoyed this interview. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. You can let me know by liking, commenting, or sharing the episode on YouTube and social media. And make sure to follow Kenny on social media as well. And of course, check out their latest project, Letrick Olson. They have a new single out now called Willow. You can check their website for more details. And my guests appreciate your support. And of course, I appreciate that support as well for the show. So please make sure you're subscribed wherever you watch or listen. We have some great guests coming up, and I also have some really cool ideas for some YouTube exclusive only videos. So if you make sure you're following the YouTube channel. I know I said subscribe wherever you watch or listen, but you better be subscribed to the YouTube channel, because there's gonna be some cool stuff on that one. So thanks so much. Have a great rest of your day, and shoot for the moon.